A big development overnight in the fight against coronavirus. Sacramento County has set a new record for cases since Thanksgiving also.
We have team coverage this morning. Mike DeSalle will have more on the Sacramento County numbers, but we start with Teo Torres on this news out of England. Good morning.
Good morning to both of you. Late last night, officials in the United Kingdom announced that they have given emergency authorization for the vaccine made by the American drug company Pfizer and German partner BioNTech. Here's the latest. This is the first approval for a vaccine that has undergone the proper rigorous testing. The Medicines and Healthcare Product Regulatory Agency reviewed the vaccine and recommended it could be used, agreeing to its 95% overall effectiveness. The agency also found that it does offer significant protection for older people who are among the most at risk of having complications. British officials say they expect to get the first shipment of the 800,000 doses ordered within days, and people could start receiving shots next week. Later today, a government committee will release its priority list for who gets those shots, but it's expected to be healthcare workers first, nursing home residents, and people over the age of 80. Now, Pfizer's CEO called this an historic moment, but keep in mind, final testing is still underway on this vaccine. They still aren't sure how long this vaccine will actually protect people, or if you can still spread the virus while you are immune. The U.S. hearing on the vaccine is scheduled for next Thursday, and now Moderna's vaccine review will come just a few days after that. Remember, they have a vaccine has similar effectiveness to Pfizer's. A British vaccine from AstraZeneca is set to roll out sometime in January. Back to you guys.
All right, Teo, thank you.
Meantime, the race to get that vaccine out is made even more important by the spiraling numbers here in the United States. According to Johns Hopkins University, there were nearly 180,000 new cases nationwide in the past 24 hours and nearly 2,600 deaths confirmed, pushing the total now above 270,000. In California, let's break down those numbers for you. Johns Hopkins shows 16,500 new cases in the past 24 hours and 117 more deaths.
And the big shocker is this number here. Sacramento County reported 1,115 new cases. KCRA 3's Mike DeSalle joined us live from the County Health Department with more on this record-breaking update. Good morning, Mike.
And good morning, and we're live outside the Sacramento County Public Health Department because this area, specifically this zip code, the 95823 zip code, has seen the greatest number of cases in the county since this pandemic began. But again, the big headline to report here this morning, and you just said it, is the fact that the county has seen a jump of more than 1,100 new cases since Thanksgiving. That's nearly double the previous updated report, and it set a new record, a record that, by the way, was just set last week. The number of cases in the county now approaching 40,000 since the start of the pandemic. Here's the concern. At this rate, health officials say that statewide, the number of hospitalizations could triple by Christmas. And back out here live, a key thing for perspective here this morning to keep in mind when it comes to Thanksgiving holiday, these latest numbers still do not fully account for the Thanksgiving Day travel or the Thanksgiving get-togethers. That is something that will become clear as we move through the next few days and weeks. Live in Sacramento County this morning, Mike DeSalle, KCRA 3 News.
All right, Mike, thank you. And with the vaccine on the verge of distribution in the United States, there are continued questions about who will pay for it. That's part of the gridlock on Capitol Hill over the next coronavirus relief package. KCRA 3's Jared Hill is joining us live in our Washington newsroom with the breakdown. Good morning, Jared.
Hey, good morning, Ty. Yeah, I mean, at this point, we kind of have 3 different coronavirus relief packages floating around Capitol Hill, but no real consensus on how to turn any of them into actual help and action for the American people. The latest one came just yesterday. This one introduced by a bipartisan group of lawmakers, senators specifically. This one has about a $900 billion price tag. It's a bit of a middle-of-the-road plan in between the Senate Republican and House Democrat ones. It has money for businesses, people who are unemployed, as well as state and local governments. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, though, said yesterday that, for the most part, he's sticking with a smaller package that's already failed twice, but that would potentially still have the support of President Trump. Meanwhile, with the need to fund the government on the horizon, Speaker Pelosi and Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin were talking yesterday for the first time in a while about a year-end spending deal that could also include COVID relief.
We don't have time for lengthy negotiations. The issue is, do we want to get a result?
It would be stupidity on steroids if Congress left for Christmas without doing an interim package as a bridge.
All right, so what's at stake with this? If Congress does not reach some kind of agreement by the end of the year, which is the end of the month, then there are a number of pandemic-related relief provisions that would end up expiring. Things like federal evictions bans, some freeze on federal student loan payments as well. So a lot at stake over the next couple of weeks.
A lot at stake, and Congress is, of course, focused on COVID relief, as you were just talking about. What other funding issues still need to be sorted out?
So, Tyler, the other funding issue here is funding the federal government. That's something that needs to be done by December 11th in some capacity, or else there is the risk of yet another government shutdown. Typically speaking, they when there's a transition of power, whether it's in Congress or within the White House, they would push along a continuing resolution, which essentially would just kind of keep things funded at the current levels. But you have both Pelosi as well as McConnell who say they want something larger, something that would include some sort of COVID-19 related funding as well. President Trump, though, is saying that he would not sign something if it does not include a specific change to the protections for social media companies. That's something that doesn't really have a lot of support within Congress, so it'll be interesting to see how that all plays out. Back to you.
Yes, it will. Jared Hill, Live Force in Washington. Thanks as always. 6:09 is your time. The mayor of San Jose is apologizing for not following COVID restrictions on Thanksgiving. Mayor Sam Liccardo spent the holiday at his parents' home in nearby Saratoga. Liccardo says 8 extended family members from 5 different households attended that gathering. He says they were socially distanced and did wear masks in his parents' home, but that was still a violation of state and local guidelines. So in a statement, Mayor Liccardo said this, quote, "I apologize for my decision to gather contrary to state rules by attending this Thanksgiving meal with my family. I understand my obligation as a public official to provide exemplary compliance with the public health orders and certainly not to ignore them." End quote. I commit to do better. There's the end of the quote. Excuse me.